Good afternoon. This is Beauty for Ashes with Tracy, and this is your host, Tracy Howcrumbie. And this is a healthcare podcast that gives all information on wellness, self care, and mental health awareness. And we want you to overcome negative thinking by enlightening and empower you to develop healthier mindset strategies. How is everyone doing this afternoon? We're so happy to have you here with us. We do have LeMichael Allen from Purpose Basketball. I'm going to bring him on right now into our meeting. We want to just welcome him. Lee Michael, you're on. How are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? How's everything?
Everything is good. Everything is good. I'm so glad I caught up with you. You're so busy. You're so busy.
Oh yeah, just trying to do what I can do out here.
You
Just
doing
work,
what you
work,
can
work.
do?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, you working, you working. I wanted you to just introduce yourself to the people because this is an anticipated show. Everyone's been waiting on this. So tell us about yourself so we can get started.
Well, I'm LeMichael Allen, originally from Alabama, live in New York. I'm the CEO of Purpose Basketball. I've been running it for 13 years, helping mentor a lot of the youth, a lot of the kids that's in the neighborhood, and even further than that, back to Alabama, that I have been helping navigate with their lives and some of the things that they may be going through, growing up in poverty-stricken neighborhoods.
Okay, poverty-stricken neighborhoods. So this is a great help to an underserved community for us, the work that you're doing, and we're so thankful that there's someone taking time out to give back to the youth. So, how did Purpose Basketball evolve, and how did it help you understand your purpose? I kind of want to get into asking that question.
Well, it evolved. I have a son that's 19 now. So when I originally started, I wanted to be there for him, and he had so many friends. So there were so many kids that he knew that played basketball. So I started off with one group, then one group went to another group, and then before I knew it, I was mentoring over 30 to 40 kids at a
Wow.
time. So it just it grew so fast. Just the word got out really fast with basketball. A lot of kids in our towns and cities, they love basketball, and so they're always looking for a place to play, a safe place where they can hone their skills and things like that. And then it became a thing where you're having all these kids and you're either driving them to games or going to their games, so you're having personal conversations with them about the game, about their life, and you kind of tap into those type of things.
Well, during those conversations, how much uh how much was either issues coming up with, I know adolescents can be difficult. How much was information or things you had to talk to them about like with mental health? I'll just ask that question right away.
Very often, very often. And I don't think they ever use the word mental health itself, but me studying and kind of understanding it and knowing these things, I was able to understand that these were things that they were dealing with. So it happens a lot more frequently than I would want it to happen, but it happens a lot.
It
So
happens.
if there's 100 kids, I can guarantee you 95 of them have these issues.
Having issues, yes. I'm so glad once again that we have a strong male figure in some of the lives of those that probably don't have you standing in the gap. How was that for you when you were even coming up? Did you have those kind of resources or someone there to make sure that you were going down the right path, like you're there for these young men?
Well, growing up in the areas that we grew up in is predominantly black. So my coach, I did have someone, but he didn't look like me. And
Mhm.
him not looking like me, I was able to listen to things and take in certain information. But being that he was not from where I was from and he didn't look like me, certain things he couldn't really help me with.
I do understand that. I do understand that. So did it change your narrative a bit? I mean, did it change anything for you as you were growing up? Uh when you now have to present the same type of resource to the people that you're helping now.
Yes, it changed. It's definitely changed a lot for me
Mhm.
because I was once sitting in the chair that they're sitting in. So I can
Mhm.
understand some of the questions and some of the desires and some of the fears that they may have within life and even basketball. So being able to understand those things, I'm able to help them a little bit more and speak into a way where it's to their level and not above their level. More than certain when I was a kid, they would speak it, but it wasn't at a level where I understood it. So it was very important for me to look like them and be able to walk and talk and listen to some of the same music they listen to so that we can have a relationship and talk about common things.
I do agree. I do agree. So, what ages are the children that you're helping right now, or
They're
mentoring or
from
coaching?
they're from the ages of 5 all the way up into 55.
Really?
I think that's just a unique thing about Purpose is bigger than just a basketball organization. Um, Mentoring and being able to talk to people is not just with children. There are older people that go through it that, this is all nuance for a lot of people, this mental health thing. But a lot of us have went through it and just didn't know what it was. So
Yeah.
I'm actually speaking to a lot of adults, a lot of parents about this thing. This is all nuance to all of us. So I'm blessed to be able to be one of the people that have gotten some professional help and kind of seek, more knowledge about things I don't know.
I really like that. This is so wonderful because I see a lot of the pictures. I don't see you featured with the older people like in the game. So this, well, the what the pictures that I've seen. And so to know that, that's even great because iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you being there to be a help to even youth and beyond is really, really great. It's really great. So I wanted to know, how does it feel when you see the young men that you've coached or mentored as they grow up? Because you've had some of them, as I saw, like we talked about, from like smaller ages, and you see them grow
Right.
up in their families. Tell me a little bit about how does that feel to you when they turn into the men that you've kind of, spoken and poured into them to become?
I think that's more than no money could ever replace that feeling. Because
Mm,
although these kids are not my biological kids, I don't really know the difference outside of, they were not, I don't, you know, they didn't come from me, but they come
mm,
from me, at some stem. And there was just recently a lot of the kids that did come up underneath me from a very long time, they're starting their own business. They're becoming entrepreneurs. And, quietly, one kid said to someone else, and they came back and said it to me, oh, I did it like this because I seen Coach Lee do it like this. So I think that
mhm.
was important for me to, be that person. So what it does for me, it's more rewarding than money. Money
It is.
is way more rewarding than any money that's
Priceless
worth it.
is what it
Right,
is then.
right,
Okay. Well, I love that part about that. Okay, so your organization is in your city. Tell me a little bit about where were you located? Tell us how, because I know you were just traveling and you just got to where you needed to get
right.
from your trips and travel while they're playing tournaments. Tell us where you're located, where you travel to, what's going on right now with Purpose.
So I'm located in Eastern Long Island, in the Wheatley Heights, Dix Hills area. We train there 4 days a week. Um, we do a lot of traveling for AAU. This is AAU season, so it's a huge time of the year for a lot of the young student athletes to
Wow.
possibly be seen by a college or a coach or something like that. So a lot of those kids that I mentor, they're with me now on this trip where we're going to go play for 2 days.
Wonderful. So where are you going to play now?
We're in Pennsylvania right now. Right now
Okay.
we're in Pennsylvania, so we travel from New York to Pennsylvania, and we'll be here till Sunday afternoon. I'm hoping that we win. So I brought two teams with me here.
Wow.
Um, and we've played. Tomorrow we start. So we have 4 games, 2 games each team. Depending on how well we do in pool play, we'll move on. So we're
Mm.
going to be doing a lot of traveling over the next 3 to 4, over the next 2 to 3 months.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you stay busy with them and keep them encouraged and inspired. Okay, well, I do want to know because this is very important to me because my this platform is mental health and the awareness of mental health and things like that, self-care, wellness. Um, Again, I think we might have covered it, but you can kind of let me know any more information, like you're sharing the mental health awareness and self-care with the youth that you coach. And we see that there's so many young people that are going down unproductive paths. Give us some advice. What do we need to be really sharing with the youth right now? Because the things that are happening and what we're seeing is like I would want to hear a lot more positive, but in the news, the narrative is always a negative narrative. Could you just tell me a little bit about, your point in sharing some stuff and where you think we are and the advice you can give with the things that you're seeing that's not working, the ways you see things. And it's not just parenting. What's not working that we can help to try to make better.
I think especially for kids, children, I think that the one thing that we do is we alienate these kids when they make a mistake in life, and no one comes and tell them like, "Look, your mistake may have been very egregious, but it's a mistake." I think we all make mistakes, so to alienate these children, and send them to different schools or things like that, versus just getting them the proper person to talk to, it can
Yeah.
change the direction of a lot of kids. So instead of them sending these kids off somewhere, I just think that we as a community need to come together and be able to talk to these kids and let them know that you made a mistake. We all make mistakes, and you're not what they're portraying you to be, but you made a mistake. Honor that mistake, be accountable of it, and not make the same mistake over and over again.
I agree. I agree because some of these mistakes have very severe consequences,
Right.
and there's some prices being paid when they could just be in their kid role. Why are they trying so hard? You think the young men to be adult right now? What is that about? They have the guns right now. I'm thankful you have a program that keeps their minds off stuff like that. What is going on? You think?
I just think all the kids want to be accepted and want to be liked.
Hmm.
And that comes from, it could be something at home. It could be it's a huge part of it is internet. You see someone on the internet and they get all these kids just want love and consideration. I think
Yeah.
all of us do, even us adults, we want to be loved and considered,
Mhm.
by our kids, our peers, and whomever else we're around. We want to be liked and loved, and a lot of them don't get that. So when they come to me as Purpose Basketball, every kid that walks through that door, um, I want them to be smiling, high fiving, and having a good time. So that could be a great
Mhm.
experience for them. So whatever it is they're going through throughout the day, that experience itself, I would want it to pull them out of that space that they could be in at that point in time.
That's wonderful. And what you're saying is so necessary. Pull them out of that space. That's a very profound statement because that's a state of mind. You know what
Right.
I mean? So that state of mind, if you're able to even just get a trajectory that's a totally different polar opposite of the negative, you have done your work for that individual. If you could just get their mind on the positive.
100%. I think
Mhm.
that's just something that a lot of kids struggle with. Everyone they deal with, especially in poverty-stricken neighborhoods, they deal with everyone telling them what they can't do, what they shouldn't do, and then they're watching so many other things that happen in that neighborhood, which you and I both know that
Yeah.
don't always come out, very positive. So to
Yeah.
see something positive, as they see myself as a basketball coach, and I have, some skin in the game as far as dealing with different athletes at different levels, I think that that's something, that they can modern and look up to.
Yeah, and it's very important because you made a very good valid point as we started about not having someone that looked like you when you were growing up. So I think that's a very important model for someone to see, although everybody may have different role models and that could be a diverse thing, but to have someone that looked like them to show them the things that you're showing them is even more more wonderful and prevalent, to most circumstances and situations, because they have still the fathers, the uncles, the brothers that are older, things like that. So to have some extra, uh, individuals that come into their life and just help cultivate the mind is very, very important. I think your work is amazing. And I just want to give you many props, because a lot of times that's not everybody's purpose and calling to deal with the youth. You know that. Yeah,
And
everybody does not deal with you. That's something like I know mine's is not nursing or anything that has to do with blood, or
right,
that's
right,
not
right,
my
right.
calling. But you got some people that's what they do, and that's amazing and wonderful. Um, so they're struggling. You're helping. You're helping them cope. You're helping them carve a path out. Tell us a little bit about how they can start with you, and how does things start from the beginning to the end. Like if I brought my son to you, what are we doing? How does this start from the youth standpoint in your program?
Well, you as far as like the X's and O's of getting the kid to me, you
Mhm.
can always reach me at Purpose Basketball on Instagram or Facebook, LeMichael Allen. You can reach me on those. So that's the start. And normally people they'll reach out, inquire about it. I'll tell
Mhm.
them the time, place, date, bring them down, and we get started. I kind of deal more with the behavior part of it and kind of
Mhm.
see if it's a good fit. So I don't ask for any money to start off. I want to see if it's a good fit before we go any further. And 99.9% of the time, the outcome has been pretty well for me, which I'm very happy about. So I kind of get to know the kid before I get to any levels of teaching.
That's nice. So you're teaching. Okay, so again, I brought my son to you. I've reached out to you. I brought him there. You tried to see he's a good fit. Okay, so from that point, I do you bring them every week? I'm bringing them every day. I mean, how are we
Well,
navigating
I
the?
would like, depending on the relationship, it's all new. It's all new.
Okay.
So I would like to see them as many hours as I can a week. I also, depending on the age of the kid, I try to always get the kids' cell phone numbers and things like that, so I can be able to communicate with them and just let them know that this is a safe place. So nurturing and building that relationship with them, because kids go to school every day and something happens. Things happen every single day.
Every
You
day.
know, so I do my best to try to text the kids and at least once a day. Hey, what's up? What's going on in our school? And I think that builds a relationship with them to be in that safe space where I can't wait to go to him versus I don't want to go to him because he's just going to scream and yell, or like I
Yeah.
want to have that relationship where it's fun for you to come to me. So it's fun to learn. It's fun
Yeah.
to have someone to be able to talk to, that just safe place. So I always want to have that safe place with even if they don't work out with me or play with me. But if we're talking about your son, I want to have access to him to be able to help him and things that someone else may not be able to.
I think that's wonderful, because it is a case by case, and that is based on an individual, personality, and an individual uh, dialogue that you will have with, because everybody is not the same in personality, morals, character, or with the integrity of it. So I think that's wonderful. I just was trying to see how does that work, because I know you probably have so many kids. How many kids do you have now that you're mentoring and coaching?
Um, right now, I mean, even if we're talking about collegiate, professional, a little over 500.
That's a lot.
I
That's
know
a
them all.
lot.
Yeah, I know them all. I had them for, I had a lot of these kids a very long time. So it's personal relationships. I think is the biggest thing in life. Being able to look someone in the eyes and tell them the truth, and stand on that. I think the kids appreciate that from me because I won't tell them a lie, or I won't
Yeah,
just try to make them feel good for the moment. But I'll be honest with them. And sometimes I think, well, not sometimes. I think all the time, honesty is your best policy.
it is. Even as us being adults, I mean, there's no need to, we can't sugarcoat a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things I know they should not, um, you be as honest as you can with the information that you can give them, you
Right.
know, because I know we don't want to overstep boundaries because we talk about that all the time. We aren't the parent, but you know what you need to share that makes it okay where you're not, overstepping a parent
Right.
role, so I do get that. Now, lastly, we're going to touch, did you have something else you
I
want to
was
say?
gonna say something, about the boundaries. Tracy, if you bring your son to me, and as that was very important that you said it, because there are conversations that I've had with kids without their mom, and they're probably very, like, it's a slippery slope. But the one thing I tell you when you bring your kid to me is, JC, he's mine too. We're sharing this kid.
Wow.
Anything, and if I think something is too far left or a little bit
Mhm.
of, whatever it is, I don't withhold that information with the parent. I will share that with them. Say, hey, I had this conversation with JJ. He said this here happened, just to allow you to know. So I never leave the parents in the dark of what's going on. I just try to tell them, just kind of trust me and what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
don't go crazy on him or her about information that I'm giving to you, because he or she trusted me with this information, and I'm just not keeping you in the dark about it.
Yeah. And I will correct that because I'm going in a direction like you just have young men. So you have some girls, young ladies that you coach and
Right.
mentor too. My apologies because I'm up here just in a position just talking from the young male perspective, but you have young girls and young male. Now back to that question, because this was pretty interesting. Like you're saying, has it ever been a time that they might have been upset, because you know how kids can get. You're trying to, I tell you something, Coach Lee, and this is between you and I. And like you said, it might be a little left that you should be telling the parent something because it could be something that I mean, have you ever got into a situation where they feel like you violated trust and, something of that nature?
I mean, I think that what I'm gonna say is probably not always the right thing to say, and kind of gauging at the audience that you have and the temperature of the room when
Sure.
dealing with parents. It's usually the parents that they go crazy, like, hey, dad, what? Because the parents never see their kids the way that someone else sees them, or
Yeah.
they ignore that they're that way. So they're human and they make mistakes and they do things. So sometimes I don't tell the parents the whole thing right then and there.
Yeah.
I have to, like, grace into it before I
Yeah.
tell them that, so they don't go crazy about it and they mess
Yeah.
up the relationship between me and their kid. But
Yeah.
so far so good. I haven't had anything, and I also have a relationship with the parents where they trust me
Yeah.
with their kid. Whether they're having a barbecue at their house, they're inviting me over, or there's a bar mitzvah going on and they
Oh,
invite me
cool.
to it. There's a church day, so being able to bridge that gap between religion, color, race, and things like that, I have been able to do that just being in this space.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, that as a parent, I'd have been like high five. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
That made me feel very warm. And again, I'm not even in this particular instance where I have a child to ask that question. However, it's very good. I would have loved to, you know, to if I did have a child, that made me feel really great. And I mean, me having a child that young or that you're coaching or doing something to or doing something for, that right there, it made me feel warm my heart because it's really interesting. The parents, yeah, we are the ones that always might be on 10 and the temperature. And again, the kids are like, okay, it's not that serious. Are you like, no, it's okay. We're going to work through it because I have a stake in this too, because you're the person that's trying to navigate,
right.
help navigate a path. So I really like that, and it does give a perspective of how challenging it is to be in your position, because those are the things that we have to get the kids talking about issues that concern them that they might be holding in. And that's a great way. because we're involving some sports, some activity, and we're involving some dialogue, because that's what the stigma is always about with sharing or mental health literacy. People aren't talking about things because you're not listening, and you very well might need to be listening to a child that might be saying something through body language,
Right.
not through verbal
Right.
conversation, you know.
100%.
hmm So, anything you want to add to that? Because we're going to go to a question about power shift management. That's new. That's come out. It's probably not brand new, but you're branding it. Is coming out. A separate organization from Purpose Basketball. So, tell us a little bit about Power Shift and how the organization is doing and how it's helping others right now. Power
Well,
Shift
Power,
Management.
yeah, Power Shift Management is a company that I came up with me dealing with kids. And as they become young adults, they go into college and play basketball or whatever their careers end up being. And the relationship kind of ended after high school. And that was like a little bit uncomfortable for me to end the relationship, not end the relationship, but the management and the mentoring and things like that is not as much as I would want it to be. So
Mhm.
PowerShift is basically a sports management company where I'm able to manage the athletes and get them to a point where I'm navigating their careers and getting them on the best platform I can get them on to play basketball or just play sports, period. And I help them get NIL deals, which would help them kind of start making money a little bit earlier in their career versus later.
Okay. And what was that NIL, name, image,
Likeness.
and likeness? Okay, tell us a little bit about that, because I had to research that. I really was like NIL. I said maybe he meant to put NBA. I don't really know.
Um,
Because I never heard of it. So tell us a little bit about NIL for real.
Well,
Seriously.
the NIL is there are companies that are out there and they endorse your name, image, and likeness. And so what they do is they pay you, to post things about on Instagram or whatever to represent their company, whether that be a
Mhm.
T-shirt. It's no different than Burger King having Michael Jordan as a spokesperson. You just have now a bunch of young athletes that's doing it, and they're doing it from Hanes to Burger King and kids are starting to make money younger now versus later on in their careers. So the NIL is just name, image, likeness. A company will take your name, image, and likeness, and they'll be able to use it and be able to make money because they're using your face and your image and your likeness in order for their company to blow up. And they're giving you a piece of it so you can grow. So my job is to make sure I mentor kids in that direction so they don't get these bad deals with people or they can just sign with me. But if there's a company that's better than me that can offer you more, I would also walk you down to that as well.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, we can't close this out without me asking, like, who's your favorite team? I mean, if you're in basketball, you might have a favorite team. I mean, I'm Ohio. I'm just still Cavs. I don't care win lose, because that's just how we rolling out here. But now I'm a part of the what is it with Georgia? They gonna kill me. What's Georgia? The Hawks.
But okay, Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, because I'm in Georgia now. So yeah,
Okay.
don't be mad with me, Georgia, because I'm not a sports fanatic or anything. So I do know about them. I've been to a game, so that's super cool. So tell me about who's your favorite team?
I've been a diehard Laker fan since I was like 5 years old.
Mm.
So I used to be in love with Magic Johnson. He ran through the tunnel and he smiled on a Sunday afternoon. We're going back to when we used to have to fix the antenna on the TV. Sunday afternoon, as long as the antenna was crisp and I was able to see him smile. And
Yes,
I've been a Laker fan since then.
that's awesome. Well, we're so glad